Hi, I'm Jessica. Welcome to the first Uncognitive Distortions. Cognitive distortions are biased perspectives we take on ourselves and the world around us. The hope is to undistort the perception of mental illness. This is a series where we're going to discuss the topic of mental illness. We're going to break down the problems with mental health support in our country. Mental illness is real and it matters. So we need to talk. Why are we doing this? And who is this we I keep referring to? Well, it's a family affair. I'm lucky enough to have a pretty amazing family who knows a lot about production and filming and who support me in my message. The why is pretty simple. The general population still believes that if a person has a mental illness, that they're somehow tainted or less than, or that they're scary or unpredictable and should be avoided. I'm here to spread facts and knowledge about mental illness, to spread compassion and tolerance, and to provide education and resources. For example, did you know that 1 out of 4 people in the world develop a mental illness in their lifetime? That's 25% of the world's population. Mental illness is literally the #1 cause of disability worldwide. What if that could be prevented? Suicide is the #2 leading cause of death for people worldwide, ages 10 to 34 years old. 10 to 34. Can you believe the thoughts of a 10-year-old being so dark, so helpless, so worthless, with your whole life in front of you, that you think you could never get better? That being dead is your best future? This is mental illness, and suicidal thoughts are a symptom. Mental illness is treatable, but not if we keep shaming people, calling them weak, showing a bias towards them, and stigmatizing mental illness. People need to know that mental health is health. Do you know that it takes a person an average of 10 to 11 years to seek help for a mental illness once symptoms for a mental illness present? Can you imagine how much worse these symptoms can get in 10 to 11 years? The answer is a lot worse. Imagine having diabetes for 10 years before you feel like you can seek treatment. How much worse could that disease get? Let's be honest. Your chances of dying would go up dramatically. The same goes for mental illness. The longer you wait to seek treatment, the worse your odds. We have to address the bias and stigma associated with mental illness. Normalize treatment for mental illness. I want to end our first episode with a few things. Number 1, you are not alone. Number 2, there is hope for recovery. Number 3, labels are for jars, not people. Number 4, mental health is health. And number 5, if you're considering harming yourself, I implore you to reach out for help. This world would be a darker place without you, and we need your light. If you have any ideas and topics and want to hear something specific about mental illness, please comment below. The only way we can end the stigma of mental illness is through positive exposure, so please share. Lastly, I want to share a poem from Roedel, linked to his webpage in the description. How to live with my body. My brain and my heart divorced a decade ago. Over who was to blame, about how big a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't be in the same room with each other. Now my head and my heart share custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week, and my heart gets me on the weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week, and their notes they send to one another always say the same thing. This is your fault. On Sundays, My heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past. And on Wednesdays, my head lists all of the times my heart has screwed things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and crying. So, lately, I've been spending a lot of time with my gut, who serves as my unofficial therapist. Most nights, I sneak out of the window of my ribcage and slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me. And I just sit until the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I nodded. I said I didn't know if I could live with either of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my head is always worried about something that may happen tomorrow, I lamented. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future, I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. If you're exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focused on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There is no yesterday in your lungs. There is no tomorrow there either. There is only now. There is only inhale. There is only exhale. There is only this moment. There is only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and your head work their relationship out. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves and my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag and I walked to the door of my lungs. Before I could even knock, she opened up the door with a smile, and a gust of air embraced me, and she said, "What took you so long?"